The Giants are here at home taking on the St. Louis Cardinals as Brailyn Marquez, there you see him warming up before the game, is actually going to be making his Major League debut. The young lefty who came over in the Brandon Beachy trade in last year's trade deadline, and he'll be opposed by the veteran right-hander in Michael Wacha. This will be his 18th start for the Cardinals. Take a look at the Giants lineup 1-2-9, and then you also have the Cardinals lineup as well. We'll start things off top half of the first inning. Marquez on the hill. He's going to walk the first batter he faces on Harrison Bader. He's got some speed, and he's going to go and show off those fleet feet as he swipes second base, puts himself in a scoring position, as then Paul Goldschmidt would draw himself a walk. So it's first and second for the Cardinals with one out. Next batter up, Paul DeJong hits a line drive at Mooney at second base. He makes the snag. 2 outs now, and Jose Martinez whiffs through a changeup, strike 3. Marquez gets out of the jam. We are still scoreless. Bottom half of the second is where that changes as Tetsuto Yamada puts a charge into one, and it carries into the left field seats. A solo shot off the bat of Tetsuto Yamada makes it a 1-0 Giants lead, his 15th home run of the season. We now move on to the top of the fourth, where Paul DeJong would come to the plate, hits a ball up the gut for a base knock, so he's on first. Next batter up is Jose Martinez, has a 2-1 count to work with. He's going to get jammed on the hands, but he bloops one out to right field. Grossman gives it a dive, but he cannot make the play, so it's first and second for the Cardinals. 1 out. Marcell Ozuna would then get a pitch off the end of the bat. Mooney tries to turn 2. He can only get 1, though. So Ozuna reaches on a fielder's choice. Runners on the corners with 2 outs. As then Nizer... See, this is what I get for not looking up the name on Baseball Reference before I do the commentary. But in my defense, I am definitely not the only one who looks at the way that name is spelt and thinks that it would be the K that would be the silent letter in that name and not the N. Hits a ball into center field for a pop-up as Marquez gets out of the jam again. Bottom half of the fourth now, Shane Peterson at the dish is going to rip one into the right center field gap. Bader tried to make the leaping catch, but he does not make it. So Peterson, who's got decent speed, is able to get into third base with a stand-up triple. After that, Peter Mooney gets jammed. He would pop things up to Munoz over at third base, so it's a runner on third now with 2 outs, and Brailyn Marquez, contributing to his own cause, his first Major League hit, makes it a 2-0 lead for the Giants. And then Robbie Grossman would hit a ball into right center field. Harrison Bader getting some work out there this inning, and this time he tries to make the diving catch, or the leaping catch would be the more accurate term. He cannot make it, so Marquez scores from first. It's now a 3-0 lead for the Giants. Buster Posey would then flare out to the shortstop as they keep it at 3-0. Top half of the sixth now, as Jairo Munoz is going to bloop one into right field for a base knock, so he's on first base. That would end Brailyn Marquez's day as his Major League debut comes to an end. He does have the lead as it stands right now. Chaz Rowe will then come out of the pen, the right-hander specialist, with a runner on first, and nobody out, gives up a ball into the gap, right center field. That's going to get into the corner for Paul Goldschmidt. Will score the run. It's an RBI double. It's a 3-1 ball game now. Paul DeJong then comes to the plate, gets a pitch right over the middle of the plate, and he does not miss. A high, towering, long fly ball that goes into the seats in left center field. A 2-run shot, and the Cardinals have tied this game up on Paul DeJong's 24th homer of the season. Carson Fulmer will then come on for the Cardinals, and he did not fare much better. He walks Marcell Ozuna for the first batter. After that, it's the catcher Nizer, who also is going to draw himself a walk, so it's first and second now with 1 out, and then a 4-pitch walk to Colton Wong. So Fulmer walks, the bases loaded. They say that's enough. Tommy Kahuzi then comes on for the Giants. He'd be facing the pinch hitter in Matt Carpenter. Bases loaded, 1 out, gets Carpenter whiffed through his nasty changeup for strike for the out number 2, and then Harrison Bader would ground out to third base as Tommy Kahnle gets out of the jam, keeps it as a 3-3 game. Alex Reyes then comes on for the Cardinals in the bottom half of the sixth. 3-3 game, leading things off is the 5'6" hit machine, and he continues to hit at the big league level. Base knock up the middle. Seth Mejias-Breen then comes on to pinch hit. Mooney then uses his legs as he swipes second base, gets himself in a scoring position. Mejias-Breen would then draw himself a walk, so it's first and second for the Giants. Brings up Robbie Grossman, whiffs through a pitch in the dirt. but it gets away from the catcher, so it's now second and third for the Cardinals. Or for the Giants, I should say. Then Grossman goes down looking on a pitch on the black on the outside half, but Buster Posey would deliver on the first pitch. Next batter drives in 2 runs with a 2 RBI single. Giants now have a 5-3 lead in this ballgame, but they were not done there as Jock Peterson comes on, and he absolutely hits the piss out of a ball. A long home run to right field, a 2-run shot, and the Giants extend their lead to 7-3. They were not done yet, though. Alex Reyes, somehow still on the mound for the Cardinals, gives up a long fly ball to Aaron Altair. Somehow, Harrison Bader does not come up with that, and he's going to be able to get into third base. Altair is, so he's on third with 1 out. Ryan Schimpf then draws a walk, so it's runners on the corners with 1 out for the Giants. But then Tetsuya Yamada chops one over to third. Munoz turns it into a 5-4-3 double play, and the Cardinals finally get out of the inning. Top half of the 9th in a 8-3 game now. Pinch hitting is Tyler O'Neill. He gets a hit off of Trevor Gott, who's in his second inning of work. Then gets 2 quick outs with a runner on first, and Paul Goldschmidt somehow gets a pitch on his hands that he handles, and he puts a charge into those left field seats. Another 2-run shot in this ball game, this time off the bat of Goldschmidt, and it's now an 8-5 game. Giants cannot win it easily, as then Reyes Murata would have to enter the game for Gott. Throws 1 pitch, gets a pop-up in a shallow right field. Mooney puts it away, and that is your ball game. The San Francisco Giants win this one over the Cardinals by a score of 8-5 here at home. Jock Peterson gets player of the game honors. He was 1 for 3 with a 2-run home run. Shane Peterson 2 for 4 with a triple, scored twice on the day. Buster Posey was 3 for 5 with 2 runs driven in. Aaron Altair was 3 for 5. And then even on the Cardinals side of things, Paul Goldschmidt was 2 for 4 with a home run, a double, drove in 3 runs. Paul DeYoung was 2 for 5 with a home run. But the Giants do come out on top by a score of 8-5. Now the Giants are on the road taking on the Baltimore Orioles for some interleague action at Camden Yards. On the mound for the Orioles is the left-hander John Means. This will be his 4th start of the 2021 season, and opposing him will be Derek Rodriguez, making his 21st start, still with that sub-3 ERA. Take a look at the Giants lineup, and of course the Orioles lineup, which looks pathetic as always. Bottom half of the first inning, Park is going to lead things off by striking out on the cutter. Next batter up, Richie Martin, the shortstop. He's going to go down on the curveball. 2 strikeouts of the inning for D-Rod. Bottom of the second now, runners on first and second, nobody out, but D-Rod is going to work his way out of it as he gets a line out from Perez there. Ryan Mountcastle will then pop one up to the infield for an infield fly rule. And then for the third out of the inning, it would be Cumberland, the first baseman on the day, pops one up into shallow right field, and Baltimore does not score any runs. Bottom half of the 4th now, as Stewart would draw himself a walk, and then a pitch to Austin Hayes gets past Joey Bart for a wild pitch, so runner on second with 1 out now. Austin Hayes gets a cutter that does not cut, and he hits the absolute snot out of it into the bullpen in left center field. That's going to be a 2-run shot, and the Orioles have themselves a 2-0 lead here. Now in the top of the 6th inning, Robbie Grossman at the dish is going to hit a ball into right center field. That'll roll up against the wall. He's got himself an easy 2-bagger. And then the next batter up is Buster Posey, who's going to be ripping a ball into right field. Grossman's going to round third, head home. The throw into the plate is not in time, and the Giants cut the Orioles' lead in half. Tyler Lyons, recently called up from AAA, is going to be taking the mound now in the 6th inning with 1 out, and he would give up a ground rule double to Stewart, so he's on second base. With 1 out, next batter up is Dwight Smith Jr. He draws a walk, so it's first and second, 1 out. Lyons would then buckle down, and he would strike out the next batter, Hayes, on the sinker looking, and then he would get a ground ball from Perez to get out of the jam. And we're still at a 2-1 game, heading into the top of the 7th, where Tetsuya Yamada is at the plate, and he absolutely clobbers a ball into left field. Only question was, will it stay fair? It does. A solo shot off the bat of Yamada ties this game at 2. Richard Blyer would then come on to replace Means. So still nobody out in the top of the 7th. Elliot Ramos then hits a rocket down the left field line, hits off the glove of the diving Mountcastle, but he has no play. Seth Mejias-Breen then hits a line drive into left field, but it'll be right into the glove of Dwight Smith. Then Peter Mooney, the 5'6" hit machine, continues to hit. This one's going to be a line drive that gets out of here into right center field. A 2-run shot off the bat of Peter Mooney gives the Giants a 4-2 lead. Miguel Castro came on for the top of the 9th inning as we move things along, and with 2 outs, Joey Bart's going to join the home run parade, as that's going to be a solo shot off the bat of the catcher, makes it a 5-2 ball game. And we're going to take that lead into the bottom of the 9th, where Tanner Scott comes on to face his former team. First batter he's facing, Dwight Smith Jr., first pitch swinging, hits the ball into center field for a base knock, so he's on first base. Next batter up is Austin Hayes, who hit that home run earlier in the game, draws a walk here, first and second. They're saying we're not messing around. Tanner Scott comes out. Reyes Moranza has to bail the rest of the bullpen out yet again, and he would get a ground ball. Schimpf tags the runner, and Smith fires over to first to get Perez. Double play. Nice play by Schimpf defensively. And then the most dangerous hitter in the Orioles lineup, Ryan Mountcastle, comes to the plate, but he was no match for Moranza's slider. Goes down swinging, and he gets out of the jam, gets the save, and the Giants win this game over the Baltimore Orioles by a score of 5-2. And the 5'6" hit machine, Peter Mooney, gets himself player of the game honors. He only had 1 hit, but it was a big one, a 2-run shot to give the Giants the lead in the 7th inning. Tetsudo Yamada was 2 for 4 on the day with a home run. Joey Bart had a homer as well. Robbie Grossman 2 for 5 in this Giants victory over Baltimore. And with that being said, that is going to wrap things up here for this edition of the San Francisco Giants franchise. The next episode will actually be the trade deadline, and then a couple games with the new-look roster. I've been your host, Jerseyborn, and I am saying, it is an absolute atrocity that we have not gotten a Ryan Ruocco, David Cohn Yes Network booth yet this season.